few minutes after I open the webinar early. So if this is your first webinar, if you just say hello in the chat, let me know where you're watching from. If you have any questions that you'd like me to answer, then there's a questions tab. If you can ask the questions there, then I can answer them. And it will show the participants what question I am answering at the time. So yeah, that'd be great. I'll give it a couple more minutes until we start, but that's how it's going to run. Okay, just again, in case people didn't pick that up, I had my headphones plugged in. So this is the ZeroBS CRM live product tour, and I'll be touring you through the features of the CRM and available to answer any questions. So if you have any questions, if you ask them on the questions tab, and if you introduce yourself on the chat tab, then just so I know where people are watching from. And I'll get going in a moment. So questions on the questions tab, and if you want to say where you're watching from, just type it in the chat tab. Okay, so we've got Han watching from Market However. Hi Han, we've been talking a bit in the Slack community. Okay, so I'll get started with the CRM, and like I said, if there's any questions as I'm going through, or if there's anything in particular you want me to jump to, just let me know, and I can spend a bit more time on that area. It's covering the core of the CRM, so we have other webinars that cover specific extensions in detail, so we'll be doing those over the coming weeks, but for now this is just looking through the main areas of the CRM. So what you've got now is, this is the CRM dashboard. So what I've actually done first is I've loaded it straight into full screen mode. So the logo in the top left, if you click that logo, it'll pop between effectively the compact mode where you can see all of your other areas of WordPress down the side. So you've got your posts and your pages and your media. And if you're running WooCommerce, for example, that'll be in there as well. So that's one way of viewing it. But if you want a bit more room to work with on the ZeroBS pages, you can make it full screen and it will just get rid of those, the sidebar there. And you can access the CRM areas through the top menu. So you've got the dashboard, you've got contacts, and I've got B2B mode turned on. So you've also got companies down here. So contacts, companies, quotes, invoices, and transactions. So got it again all set up so that everything is visible. And then tools is where you'll see things like the task calendar, ZBS forms, advanced search. If you want to do a bit more like searching of activity logs, you'll find that in there. Data tools if you're wanting to delete data or import things via CSV. And then CSV imports Pro as well. Any extensions you've got active will show up in the list. So I've got a couple of here. And then the Manage Extensions tab, which I'll come to a little bit later. So the other thing is, if you hover over your face as well in the corner, you'll see a few other settings. So one of them is the welcome tour. And if you've not done that on first install, you can just revisit that at any time. And when you click welcome tour, it'll reload the page and it'll bring in the CRM. So this will guide you around the initial parts of the CRM. So again, it says about clicking the logo, we'll switch it to full screen. And it tells you a little bit more about the Learn More buttons as well that we put throughout the CRM. So if you click any of those, it opens up information. So it's hidden by this at the moment. So it'll tell you a little bit there, and then clicking the Learn More again takes you through to our page about the dashboard, and it'll give you some screenshots of how it looks when it's full of data, and a little bit more information there around other areas of the CRM. So that's the starter for 10 really. So that's the dashboard. You can do the welcome tour at any time. And so at the moment, this has got no information in. So it's just an empty CRM. So if you've got data you want to import, you can do that via CSV importer. But I'm just going to start by adding manually. So you can add a new contact. And you'll see here that I've trimmed down the fields here in this CRM. So yours might look a little bit different, but I'll show you what I've done for this shortly. So I'll add a lead. And then there's even a birthday field if you wanted to be embarrassed of how old or young I may seem. So just pick a random day. So it's the correct year. It might not be the correct month, it might not be the correct day, but so this is adding a contact. So I've added myself, and then you can fill in other areas here like Twitter profile if you know it, LinkedIn, Facebook, a link to their Facebook page or their Facebook profile if you're wanting to log that. And then we've also got some other things that I can talk about in a moment. So I'll save it to begin with. So then that's the contact saved. And then I can tag it as well. So I could tag this with me so I know that who I am in the CRM. Again, so I've tagged myself, and you'll see what it's done as well. It's automatically found that there's a WordPress user with the same credential, with the same email. So it links that there. And you can view the WordPress user profile by clicking that. And you'll see that we've also got an activity log to say might's been created. And if you wanted to add some additional ones there, you can click on activity note and say something like, okay, we had a meeting. And you can save that. And then that sticks into the activity log, and you can just keep building up the information there. So then when you go and have another view at the contact, you'll be able to see that it's populated with a bit of information, that there's been a contact since today, the name, the avatar, the email, and then I've got an assigned to here at the top. So I've got this, I've got ownership turned on in the CRM. So if you're running with a team, then you can actually say, I'll make this a little bit more. Let's choose Woody instead. So if Woody is assigned to me as a contact. So if Woody is managing that relationship, then assigning Woody to this contact and viewing it, you'll be able to see that now it's assigned to Woody. So you can see actually who's responsible for this person in the team, and then they can go in and make changes, etc., to the contact. So that's adding a contact to begin with there. And you'll see there's some areas on here that we have custom fields, so that actually you can view the birthday there. You got the vitals, which is about has there been any quotes, has there been any invoices, any transactions, custom fields there. Some information about the WordPress user profile if you're using the client portal. And then Google Contact is if it's a Google Contact and you've imported it through that extension, it'll have some link in there. But this was manually added, so there's nothing in that tab. And then down at the bottom, you've got your quotes, your invoices, transactions, and any files that are added to the contact. So the next thing is, say you have companies. So I'll add a company next. So say, ZeroBS CRM, we will add. So that's, say that's a customer. So ZeroBS CRM. And hello at ZeroBS. Straightforward company. And you can set the company image if you've got the logo, for example, but I won't do that today. And again, you can assign people to various companies as well. So when you go to companies and view all, you'll be able to see in the list the company that you've got. So I've added ZeroBS CRM in here. And at the moment, there's no contacts assigned to the company. So if I go back to myself, and then I edit. And you'll see at the company here, so actually I know that, there it is, that Mike is, I'm assigned to ZeroBase CRM. So I work at ZeroBase CRM, so let me save that. And then when we take another look at the contact, you'll see here that it's added in, works for ZeroBase CRM. So if you've got companies with a lot of employees and you're wanting to keep track of a few of them, then you can do it via assigning them to companies. And then when you look in the company view again, you'll be able to see that you've got one contact working for ZeroBase CRM, and you can click into that and view that contact as well. So that'll load up the same one as before. It loads me up. So if I added another contact now, I'll just show you the overall setup. So we've got, say, a customer now, and this will be Woody. LBSCRM.com. Birthday again, I'm just going to make this up. And save. But I didn't actually assign him to the company, so then I need to assign him to ZeroBase CRM down here. So ZeroBase CRM and save. And then when we go back to the company list, I'll refresh the page. And you can see it's got us both here now. So if you know that there's a particular company that you're working with and you're not quite sure what the contact was called, then you can be managing it via the company's area of the CRM. So if you click into the company itself, you'll see that it's showing the contacts at this company, and then you can actually, potentially remember which one it was, and then just go in and find your way through to that contact. And then it brings the same thing up here. Contact since the 16th of April, works with ZeroBase CRM, custom fields has the birthday in, etc. So that's the contacts and company side. So that's what we've got there. So Han has asked a question, and he said, if staff doesn't have a WordPress profile, how can one add their profile picture? Okay, so what it's doing at the moment, so we've got our pictures loading from our email. So if you have a gravatar for your person, then it'll automatically load it up if you've got that in the ZBS settings. So if you go to the CRM settings and you go down to, I'll have to try and find where this is now. So contacts image mode, which you can see here, and it's gravatars. So gravatars is a globally recognized avatar. So if you go to gravatar.com and enter your email, you can upload a photo there and it'll attach that photo to your email. So if you have gravatar mode, it will do that. Or you could say, let's use custom images instead. So with custom images, again, if I add a new contact, what it will do now is give you an option. It should give you an option. It gives you an option to upload a profile for that person. So you can upload a photo. So again, let's just do a quick person and see where. This, you should then be able to upload a picture for the contact. There we go. So if you hover over the image, you'll see there's a little pen, and you click on that. It'll load up the media library, and you can choose a custom image for the contact. So that's probably not the best one to choose because it's standing up. So if we choose that one again, and then save it down. So that is how you add a custom profile there. It's probably not going to look, it'll be in the list now, but for Woody and I who haven't got one, you'll see it's just showing a little person. So you've got the custom one. If you're using custom images, then you can upload them for each of your contacts there. So hopefully that answers that question. Okay, so that's the dashboard, the contacts. So tags is another area where you saw that I added a tag of me. So you see there's no, if you then look on your tags, you can actually see which contacts are tagged what. So you can click on the contact count and it will load up in the CRM people that match that tag. You see there that it's not actually loaded up Woody because it's me. And then you can also look at actually the other filters of things like customer. So I can click on customer. So there's nobody added with a customer status. I can click on, oh, so I've still got the tag active. So with this one, it's a ZBS tag and a lead. So if I clear the filters and then have a look at customers, there's only one customer in that list, so it should bring up Woody. So you can use filters and tags to refine the list of contacts that you're able to see there. And you can bring in other filters. So you've got contacted, interested, and older than 30 days. So these are other filters that you might want to add. So yep, so that's the ones with the little pie chart next to them. Those are segments. So that's the next area is segments. So if you go into segments, this is where you can create segments of contacts. So if I make a new segment, and I can say something like Mike, well, customers, that's me. You can say status equals customer, and then hashtag me. So you can create more complex groups of conditions, groups of contacts. So this should just bring myself through. In fact, it won't bring anybody through because I'm not a customer. So you see there, you can still save it, but there's currently nobody in it. So if I save that segment, and then if we go back to the segments in the list, you'll see that we've got customers that are me, but there's no contacts in there. So if we go back to the list that we had a minute ago, and if I change my lead to a customer, then what you should find is, oops, in the segment list now, if I go back to that, so I've become a customer, and now we should have a contact. So that's not updated, but it should show me in that because I now meet that criteria. So there you go. So you see that this is customers that are me. It's now loading me. So that's how segments work. You can be a little bit more creative there in the ways that you group people. So again, another question from Han that said, can you create a segment that has multiple tags criteria? So again, on segments, so what you can do, I'll add another new segment. So I've only got one tag actually, so I need to add a few more tags. So bear with me. So if you have a contact and if you have a few more tags in your CRM, so you see at the moment I've only got one tag. So let me add a few more tags first to this person. So Mr. Mike Doe, edit. And let's do ZBS CRM. First we put steak and fruits. Oops, need to do them one by one. So ZBS CRM, steak. Save. So that I've added a few more tags to the system. And then if I go back to segments, and add a new segment, so multi-tag. You see here we can do hashtag equals CRM, and then you can add another condition and say hashtag equals steak. You can add another condition, hashtag equals, let's say me. So what you can do here is you can then say, select the conditions which define the segment, So match type, you can say you can either match all the conditions, so somebody that has a CRM tag and a state tag and a me tag, or you can say match anyone. So anyone would be, do they have that tag, or that tag? So you're going to get a bigger group of people because you're just matching any of them. Whereas matching all of them, they have to have all 3 tags for them to meet that criteria. So that's how you can do multi-tag type segments. Okay, so moving on to the next part. So again, so you got contacts, and we've covered adding a contact, viewing the contact, and the list area. So you see here, you've got filters. Some of these are old segments that I had, so I can move them out of the way. So you can drag things in and out if you don't want them to be on your list. And the little blue toggle icon here on the top right, if I click that, that gives you the ability to modify what columns you want to show. So you see here that you can drag in ID, and you can say, right, I also want to show birthday as well. You can drag these in, and then you can decide, I've not got that many contacts, but if you have 50 on a per page, that will update the view, and you can see a little bit more information there. Is that 3 contacts added on those dates, these are the birthdays, and if you can see the little dotted line underneath, these are what we're calling the inline edits. So that's an option in settings, is if you want to allow inline editing of these, rather than going in and editing in detail, then that's an option. So not all the fields you can edit like that. There's only a certain number that if you're thinking, okay, I need to change some statuses, you can do it that way. The other thing you can do is if you tick a couple of the contacts there, you can delete them if you want, or you can add tags. I can add a tag there to those 2 of CRM, and this will add that tag to both contacts. So that's just a couple more operations that you can do in the CRM. You can also bring in tagged if you wanted to show what they've been tagged with. Still loading. Save options, and you'll see here that you can see what tags each person's got, and you can click on those as well in the list, and it will then quickly filter that list on that tag as well. So with the segment before, if I said match any of them, it would have brought all of these ones through, but if I'd have said match all of them, it would have only brought Mike through, the top Mike. Okay, so moving on, that's the contacts area, and then next up is quotes. So in quotes, you've got, this is if you're wanting to write a proposal for some services or anything like that. So you can add a quote template, and you can name this whatever you want. This is just the usual. This should be familiar with like WordPress editing. So what should we say? Trying to think of good examples here. So tree plantation. This is email. So you can do various things in here, like a bit of background. So background, process. Say so you're writing a template there, and you can use placeholders. So I can say, so business name, insert as a background. We love the post, and want to promote sponsor. We will plant 10 trees for you if you help us with the payments of our fine. this too detailed. Oh no. Turned it all into a very strange font. So you can create a yes. You can create any type of font here. Save it, and you can add various placeholders. So I can do the same with contact phone name, and again insert that. Please to help us with this process. The process is step 1, do ABC, and EF. And you could have sections on terms and conditions and timescales, etc. So you're making a quote template there, and you're using placeholders. So we've got some placeholders in there that then let you use that template. So the template's done, and so we're going to make a new quote. So you're adding a new quote here, and then you can say, okay, so choose which contact it's for. So we'll do this for Mr. Woody Hayday. 2, 3. And you give it a price, so say $1,000. And quote date, go to today's date, and then the notes is for you internally. So some notes, anything you want in there, and then you'll see here that you've got the template from before, or you can use a blank template if it's something custom, and you can create as many templates as you want. So you use the quote builder on that template, and you see what it's done now is it's brought in the business name, so 0BS Software Limited, and then green, edit this as you go along. It doesn't change the template, and you'll see it's put in the customer information there, so it saves you typing out the same type of thing over and over. And then you can save the quote. So that gives you the quote. It's been made for Woody, and then you can then it loads this. That's your content of the quote, and then you can take a look at it in the portal. You can email it through to. You can email it through to the email of the customer, or you can download a PDF. So again, this is a very basic view of it, and then the contact can then come in and accept the quote via their client portal. So that's what we've got there. So that's the quotes area of the CRM. And then if we go back to the contacts, and now go into where Woody was, you can see down here that we've got a quote, and it's been created, but it's not yet been accepted by Woody. So once Woody goes on and logs in and accepts, then that will get updated, and you can be notified via the system. So you see here the emails area that I've not touched on yet. So this is what happens behind the scenes. So again, we've not had any emails going out. So if I go back to the quote, and you'll see at the bottom I have the option to email it. So I'm going to send the quote. So this will send it to Woody, and then in the emails it should show up as a sent. It doesn't show up there, but it will show up in templates. So if you go to, because it's a system email, so this is for individual emails, which I've not touched on. So if you go to your settings, and then your mail templates, this is what goes out and what you can control goes out. So you see here that that's actually been sent out by the system. So there's a little robot there that says you've received a new proposal sent to Woody Hayday. And then this is where you can edit the templates. So you received a new proposal there, and this is what will come through. So it's either it's a notification email to let you know that your proposal is ready to view and accept online. Here's a link to it, and then it will tell you from who. So you can preview what it would look like. So this is the email that we would have got, and then that's the link through. So it takes them to the login area. They log in and view the proposal. So that's, and you can, there's various other templates in here. So if you're generating client portal emails for people, like effectively a welcome email to their account, then you can do that, and you can go in and edit the email templates there. And you can make certain ones active or inactive. So if you don't want quote accepted, so if Woody goes in and accepts the quote, then this will send it to the quote owner. So again, you can turn those off. If you don't want them to get notified via email every time, you can do it that way. So then on the actual contact list, I'll go back to Woody. I know the system sent him out an email about the quote, so I can go on and actually say, let's send him an email. So this is loading up. It's actually coming from WordPress at localhost at the moment. So if I just say, send that email, and then I'm actually on the avatar mode still, so let me turn that back to Gravatars. Back to Gravatars and save. So you see on the email page now, you've got, let me refresh this. So this shows you that there's been a quote gone to Woody, so you can click on it, it'll load it up, and this is what I sent out, and it just gives you a little bit more information there on the right of the page around the contact. So is there anything that I should be doing, any tasks? Total due is the value of that quote that's in the pipeline. And then tasks, if you've got any tasks for the contact, I will show you there. So if I go to tasks, then I can add a task. So what you've got on here is, so task will be chase up about quote, and that'll be me, Mike, that's doing that, and I'm going to do that on Friday. Then you chase Woody to see if he has seen the quote. And you can put a reminder in, so that will remind me that I need to do this. And you can say show it on the calendar as well. So show it on the task calendar if you want to have that view. And then this is for Woody. So it's a task for Woody Hayday. So I'm saving it down. So once that's updated, so I have to chase up about a quote, and it's related to Woody. So then if you go back to the task calendar, if you go on your little profile thing there, you can see your tasks as well. So this will take you to your own task. So if you click that link, you can see what you need to do. So this is the list view. So this will say today, sorry, on the 19th of April even, at 4:30, I need to chase up about the quote. So that's in a few days' time. And I'll get a reminder on the 18th via email to say, don't forget to do this. And then if I go back to this view, and I click on here again, you'll see now that it's saying a task. There's one task in progress, and that's chasing up about the quote. So you can see via this view, actually, what do I need to do? So that's how this area all links in. So you've got your tools, you've got your task calendar, and on that task calendar, you can see here that you'll have that task. So on the 19th, I've got to chase up about the quote. Okay, so what we've got here is, so Hans asked something in the chat. So he said, we send sponsored riders annual contracts by post. I can use your quotes to replace that. So that's, yeah, so there are other use cases for quotes. Yep, so again, you could use the task calendar to remind you to do them again. So that would be something else that would be useful for the task things. So if you wanted to schedule something in a year, you can obviously jump all the way to whatever date it would be. So say you're doing contracts in January, actually done that in one place. New contracts. And then you can do this via jumping through to January. So January the 1st. And again, at the current time. So again, if this was me, we need contracts. You can take that one down. And it'll give you a reminder a day before. So yes, it is useful for that. And if there's no contact, it will still do it. So, and if I say actually I don't want this to show on the calendar, then it will only show on your list view. So if you go to your little contacts here, so if you don't want everybody in the CRM being able to see it on the calendar, then you can go on here, your tasks, and it should show, but it won't show until we get to January. So in January, I need to renew the contracts. And then if I go on the calendar, this shouldn't show because I've unticked that box. So it doesn't show on the calendar, but it will show on the list view. If you're looking at the list view, it will show, but if you don't want to clutter the calendar up, you can do that. So if there was another task assigned to Woody as well, so let me do that, because I've only done ones for me. So payday, a task, and we'll set that, we'll keep it as today, and then we'll save. And I'll mark this one as complete. And then when we go back to the task calendar, you can see on here that there's a little tick if it's been completed, and the same on the list view. There's little ticks if they're done. And then you can also say, actually, let's just look at Woody's tasks. So that will load the page, and you'll only see Woody's. So you won't see everybody else's. So if you're wanting just to filter down what a certain person's doing, you can do it that way. Okay, so there's not too much more left in the demo. So you've got invoices is if you're then following up with things around the invoice. So if you've done some work and you're wanting to put an invoice together, then you can do it via this system. So there's different areas here, and if you've got the Invoicing Pro, you can accept payment online, and you can also have like an invoice itemizer list. So it's got your business information that you set up in settings, and then you can just fill it in the way you would normally fill in an itemized invoice. So you can add and remove rows, and you can assign who it goes to. So that's a very high level touch on the invoices. And transactions are the same. So transactions, if you're importing them via CSV Pro, but then if you're adding them as well, it's the same type of thing. So you can quickly add a transaction. So I can say, so 200, Mike, yeah, name. So I've got $200 worth of beer, and I don't regret it. So there we go. So it's added. And then when I go back to contacts and view, there we go. Yeah, so myself, and you go down to the list below the contact boxes. So no quotes, no invoices, but at 1 AM on the 16th of April, after I've had a few beers, I decided I'm going to order a load more beers. So there we go. So that's what you've got. So it will show you your transactions, and if you're on the transactions page as well, you can do that. So it will list your transactions, and you can just type in as well. You can search for beer. Anything that contains beer. So if you're wanting to do quick searches on item names, you can do that here. So that's one way of working things there. And then again, if you click on there, you can add tags again. So it's the same type of action. So if I wanted to add a tag there, but I don't have any tags. So if you're setting up transaction tags, you can add them in bulk based on the transaction item name. So Hans asked, Zero BS CRM invoices do not replace the standard WooCommerce invoicing for orders, does it? So it's a good question. So a lot of people tend to think that it can do. So really, the quotes and invoices side of this was built for like freelancers or contractors that don't necessarily use Woo. So if you're doing your own, like if you're doing a quote for building services or you're doing a quote for professional services, anything that and that you're not using WooCommerce, then that's where that would come in. What it does do though, so I've got WooCommerce installed, but I don't have WooSync installed. So if you create an order in WooCommerce and you've got WooSync installed, then it'll automatically add it as a transaction to your CRM. And you can optionally say, make an invoice. So what the intention of that is the WooCommerce invoices for orders is a little bit tricky to sort of really know the flow of it. So you have your order. So if you get asked about, can I have an invoice for this order? Then you go on the WooCommerce order and you're like, how do I get an invoice? So it's under actions at the top. And then you can email invoice on order details to the customer. Or you can resend a new order notification, or you can regenerate download permissions if you're using the download product. So what that does, it'll send them an invoice email. But what it doesn't do is give them a place where they can see them all in one place. So that's why the CRM gives you the option to generate WooCommerce invoices. So if somebody places an order, then if you're using WooSync, it'll automatically add a transaction and assign an invoice and a transaction. So then if a contact says, can I have an invoice for this order? Then you've already got it set up and it looks like these ZBS invoices. And you can download a PDF version and send it them, etc. So it's just it's effectively a bit of a backup or a bit of additional functionality there if you're wanting to see the value in the CRM for your WooCommerce. And if you do get asked for invoices, then you can quickly run one off in the system. So you don't have to then go to find the order, or if they've got login to their client portal, they can just log in and see them at any time. So I can show you how quickly what that would be. So say this is an invoice that's generated from a Woo product. So it's assigned to, let's say, WooCommerce 1. Assigned to me. So this gives you, so this is one invoice that I've made. And then on the client portal, so this is just the basic, it's just a basic theme at the moment that I've got on. So you can see that it should show the invoice because I've assigned it to me. Send to contact. Oh, it's draft status, so it doesn't show draft invoices. So you need to put it as unpaid. So WooCommerce would automatically generate the invoice and it would be a status paid in the CRM. So then on the invoices list, it'll show up and you can view the invoice. So if they've got a number of different invoices, a number of different WooCommerce orders, WooCommerce will automatically create this for them. And they can just log in via the client portal and see them all on the list without you needing to keep issuing them to them. So if they said, can I have an invoice for these orders? You can just say, well, here's the logon. They're all in this area. And you can view them in there. And you can download, if you have Client Portal Pro, you can download PDF versions from the portal, etc. So it's just a little bit of added functionality, but it's not intended to replace WooCommerce checkout and the WooCommerce process. Okay, so I think that's the main areas of the CRM. So what I've been showing you today is just the core of the CRM. There are a number of extensions available. So if you, that's the wrong page. So on here, there's a lot of different extensions available for the CRM. And I've just been touring you through the core of the CRM. So this is the dashboard. Again, you can see the latest contacts and the various recent activity. So you can see effectively what's happened in this. I created myself. I had a bit of a meeting about it. Then I created Woody and then Mike. I did that quote about the trees. I sent an email. I created an event, and then a transaction and an invoice. So that's sort of giving you a little bit of flavour of this activity log. So this shows you from the CRM what's going on and by who. So that's useful to see if you're managing like a bigger CRM, because it's just me running through a simple demo. Okay, so questions again. You don't need to apologize for asking questions, it's fine. So can I edit the invoice template? We don't have that option at the moment to be able to edit the templates. We're actually rewriting the invoicing completely for version 3, so that's why I've not spent too much time on it. So it's mostly the same. So the list views are the same, but when you're adding a new invoice, you'll be able to, we're giving custom fields as an option, so you can add additional fields onto the invoice, and then on the back of that, it will need something in there to be able to, like I did with the quote template, to have like the invoice template. So to modify and then select an invoice template that will be used, and then that's how it would look on the portal. And again, on the PDF, again, it's the same type of thing. So there'll be templates for the actual portal, and then there'll be templates for the PDF. So that's something that isn't in there yet, but we'll be looking to, on the back of adding the custom fields to the invoices, to give a little bit more control over how the actual eventual PDF would look through various editors like this. So like the quote editor, there'll be a PDF template editor and the actual portal style editor, and the same for quotes as well. So quotes at the moment, we've just got a template for the content, and the quote in the, as you could see before, the quote on the client portal is just pretty basic. So it just gives you the information. I've not got any quotes. So the other quote that I looked at, this one, yeah. So this quote, again, you'll see it's pretty standard here. So there's not much you can do with that as it turns for the actual template of it itself. So you could template around the content as well. So that's stuff that we will be looking at as we just continue to develop the CRM based on questions and things like this. So it's always good to ask the question, because otherwise we wouldn't be building things in like that. Okay, so that's, like I said, that's the tour completed. So again, if there's any questions, I'll be around to answer them. There's a number of extensions available already. I think we're up to around about 28 now. So funnels, again, that gives you a bit of a visualization, and I think I might have that installed on here. So it's probably not going to give you a good picture at the moment because I've only got 3 contacts. But if you load it up, it'll give you the information for your CRM. So it'll say how many leads have you had, how many have you contacted, how many have tried a demo, and how many customers. So because I've pretty much just set it up on a single day, but this will give you a visualization of how well you're doing at getting your leads into your CRM and then bringing them through to purchase from you. So are you getting people coming in and you're never contacting them, then that's an area where you might want to think, actually, let's contact everybody that gives me their details. And then on that, how many of those are trying the demo, etc. And then how many of those end up purchasing. So it's a way to try and optimize your process in the CRM. And so there's a number of extensions, again, like that. So we got System Email Pro. So when I did the email before, this lets you add canned replies. And then we got various different ones for collecting leads. So if you're running Opt-in Monster as a exit intent, then that will get those exit forms or Opt-in Monster forms data into your CRM. And same with Exit B Connect, that will get, if you're using that as another exit intent, as well as various other functionality. So we've got WordPress Utilities, which is if you're having people sign up to your website, so the usual WordPress registration page, that will get them into the CRM as a lead or whatever your default status is. Advanced segments lets you segment your contacts in a little bit more advanced ways. So you can do it based on custom field values and other criteria in there. And then we have automations, which let you do things on new triggers. So if you have a new contact, a new invoice or a new quote, then it can do certain actions. So there's too many extensions to go through in detail now. And if you and you can either pick and choose from the store, or you can grab a bundle. So the most popular is the Entrepreneur Bundle, because you get access to all of the extensions and any of our new CRM extension releases. So again, if you haven't seen this area, I'll send a link. So we're going to, so this is where we accept votes on general bigger features or bigger extensions to the CRM. So I will send that. So so votes on coming. So this, if you've not voted on here, please do vote, because this influences what we build next. And if there's something that's not on the list, you can submit a new extension request, and then we keep track of that as well. So these are the most frequently asked for added functionality in the CRM. So again, you've got inbox functionality. So if someone sends you an email, then that's what that will do. That will deliver it into your CRM. So you'll see on here, if you remember the emails area, at the inbox here, see at the moment it's saying there's no emails of this type. So, and then that will take you through to our page around ZBS CRM inbox or ZeroBS inbox. So again, it's currently being voted for, and the intention is if you'll be able to field emails in and see, like, effectively manage your inbox via WordPress. Okay, so I think that's pretty much everything. If you have the extension bundle, you get the CRM extensions. There's some certain things on here, like the inbox, which isn't a CRM extension, it's more of a complementary product. So that will be something that we'll be delivering as part of our Elite bundle, which will be coming after version 3. So, and that will be later in the year as well. So that's going to be one of the next things we build, but it'll be later in this year. And then there's lots of other extension ideas that people have been requesting and voting on. So again, if you've not voted on the page, please do, because we do let people know that have voted when it's available. Okay, so if there's not any other questions, then I will leave this open for a minute or two more in case you have questions. But if you've not purchased a bundle, now is a great time to, because we are getting very, very, very close to version 3. I keep saying that on these webinars. So again, if you've not seen this page, I will send the link to version 3. So this is our road to version 3, and it gives you a bit of information of what we're up to. So what we've been doing in the run-up between version 2 and version 3, you'll probably notice we're on something like version 2.99 now. So we're getting very close to version 3, and the main thing pending is we'll be moving everything to the new database structure. So when I was saying before about invoices, things like custom fields and things like auto numbering and things like that we've got for contacts, which has already been migrated, we'll be able to build into invoices, and it will just make development of additional features and reporting and things like that a lot easier, as we'll be able to do better searches and tags and segmentation of things like transactions too. So that's almost ready. We are hoping to have things ready towards the end of the month, but it's looking like it might be a little bit later now. So that's sort of where we're up to. So we're getting very close, and we do release product updates each month as well. So that will tell you what we've been working on in the month and how things are progressing. So we do build updates every week, and we do release features as and when they're ready to release. So we're getting very close to what would be in version 3. But the milestone marker will be once the database has been completed, and once we've finalized version 2 of mail campaigns, that will be what will make up version 3 of ZBS CRM. Okay, so thanks for attending. I've got a frog in my throat now after that. So if there's any questions, then I will do my best to answer them. But otherwise, thank you for attending, and hopefully it's been useful. And if there are any further questions, just send them through to the submit a ticket that comes through to myself or Woody. So again, we are doing other webinars as well. So we've got one coming up on Thursday, if you're not fed up of seeing my face already. So we've got, which quite nicely focuses on WooCommerce. So Thursdays I'll be looking at in a bit more detail the WooCommerce integration and how you'd run this with a online store, so things like that. So that's quite a good one to attend if you've got a WooCommerce install as well. You'll be looking at how you set it, effectively what WooSync is, what it's doing, some of the things that we're looking to add into WooSync as well. So we've added a couple of new things in March, just gone, that it would be good to talk through how you would use that in your CRM. Okay, cool. So I'll see you Thursday, Han. And until then, thank you for attending, everybody, and we'll speak soon.